Bisam Care Foundation, a non-governmental organization, on Thursday, 30th April, organized a health awareness program for secondary school girls in Benin City. The free medical outreach, which took place at a Motan College, was part of activities to mark the 4th anniversary of the passing of the late Mrs. Olabisi Ameze Osage, JP. The executive director of the organization, Ms. Uyogusa Ono Osage, noted that the sensitization program became necessary to increase awareness about sickle cell anemia, cervical cancer, and the importance of knowing one's genotype as early as possible. Ms. Osage also noted that due to the high mortality rate of women caused by cervical cancer, frequent awareness campaigns were being embarked upon by Bisam Care Foundation across the states of Nigeria.
We've been doing this all around the town, not just in Edo State, and we will continue to keep doing it as long as God gives us strength.
Knowledge is power, information is power, and we definitely take something away from this. This foundation was established to reach out to the sick and the needy. And I know you guys are not sick and you guys are not needy, but there will come a time when you will need this information that we are going to pass to.
The guest speaker, Dr. Alari Edosa, emphasized that though there is presently a cure for the sickle cell health challenge known as bone marrow transplant, prevention by knowing one's genotype still remains the best option due to the treatment's expensive nature and the high risk of failure.
Persons whose genotype, or people whose genotype are having the sickle cell gene, is what we call SS. They are the ones who suffer from this sickle cell disease. Now trying to break it down so you understand. Let me not start using big medical terms. So what the sickle cell disease does is that it leads to production of abnormal red blood cells. They start attacking the normal red blood cells and replacing it with abnormal red blood cells in the body. That's why if you know, those of you maybe that are really to have one or two ideas or information about it, if you know, many of them are always having to go through series of blood transfusion because the sickle cell gene is producing abnormal hemoglobin, which is abnormal red blood cells that attack the normal red blood cells, and by so doing push them into anemia. Their blood level will drop, and then they now start needing transfusion almost all the time.
In his remarks, the president of the Edo State Sickle Cell Association, Comrade Dr. Charles Edigin, highlighted the health and financial challenges being faced by sickle cell warriors. Lauding the organizers of the health awareness campaign for the timeliness of the exercise, Dr. Edigin urged sickle cell warriors not to relent in their battles with the health condition, but also called on relevant authorities to beef up awareness campaigns about sickle cell disorder.
In all schools, there's supposed to be a lecture on sickle cell disorder for our youth not to make mistakes in getting married to the wrong person. Maybe our doctors here I'll tell you one or two things that you need to hear from the horse's mouth. My condition that I have lived right from when I was a child, from infant, I can really tell you that I was diagnosed so early in life at about the age of a year and 6 months to be a sickle cell warrior. I have suffered all along. This time, if there have been awareness on sickle cell disorder throughout this country, from the federal to the state and local government level, I believe by now we would have gone past this era. It is simple, just an awareness campaign, like I said. You go to schools, both those in town like this, those in the interior villages, even places that you cannot access mobile. Our government has all it takes to get there if you really want to. If everybody is well sensitized that if you carry out your genotype test and you are AS, you are not compatible to marry O is also AS.
Another resource person highlighted the need for abstinence from sex by young women as a means of curbing the high mortality rate posed by cervical cancer. He emphasized that over 8,000 Nigerian women die yearly due to cervical cancer and urged older women to take tests for cervical cancer on a regular basis. He further called on relevant authorities to assist more in the distribution of HPV vaccines for the benefit of girls between the ages of 9 to 14 years.
In Nigeria, cervical cancer is responsible for over 8,000 deaths of women. That is why we are talking about cervical cancer. So you can imagine if I tell you that there is something that kills 8,000 people and more. I say more because the 8,000 people are people that come to the hospital that we see, not people that have it at home and die and we don't even know about it. So if something is killing 8,000 women, I think it's something that is worth talking about. So one of the major ways to prevent any disease is by what? Health education. Health education. Because if you don't know about a disease, how will you even know that you should prevent it? So but when you know about a disease, when you are educated on how the disease happens, you are able to now prevent or protect yourself against it. So the very first thing is health education. So health education like we are doing today, from a doctor to students. And the reason I'm trying to teach you in simple terms, and if you don't understand, you can ask me any question, is that I also want you to live here and also teach people that are your age in other schools that do not have this opportunity. I also want you to go home and tell your mother about it. I also want you to go back and tell older women about cervical cancer.
There was a question and answer session between the students and resource persons, and some of the students had this to say.
Yeah, I think that is very necessary for we young ones to know our genotype so that when we grow up, we know our right partners and not end up marrying the wrong partners and putting our children into crisis. Like the awareness program was okay to me, it was really good. This awareness program, I believe it would save lives and there will be no more cervical cancer, prevention, the disease will be rare.
The principal of Emotan College, venue of the event, Mrs. Mabel Ige Edawe, and a senior representative from Edo State Senior Secondary Education Board, Mrs. Tracy Wadiai, expressed gratitude to Bisam Care Foundation for embarking on the program.
The program covers sensitizing and enlightening the students on health issues. And they are also going to have the opportunity of being screened in some of these conditions, and like knowing the genotype, the blood group, and the most especially the cervical aspect that they've been enlightened on. So it's a very good thing. And I want to applaud the Chief Executive Officer of Bisam Foundation. She's doing a great job.
The free genotype and blood group screening you provided is not just a test, it's a knowledge that will help these young ones make informed decisions for life and prevent future health challenges.
Honorable Samson Osaige, who was represented by Mr. Otabo Osaige, while calling for greater propagation in awareness about sickle cell and cervical cancer, also admonished the students to be of responsible behavior at all times.
We extend our sincere thanks to the grant committee and the volunteers who tirelessly on their own see that this program is seamless. Special thanks to our sponsors for supporting the mission to reduce the incidence of sickle cell disease disorder. Finally, thank you all, the participants, for active engagement and thoughtful questions and commitment to taking this awareness back to our communities. Very important. We have to take it back to our communities.
High point of the ceremony was a free medical test for genotype and cervical cancer for participating students. Ogbebo Ikekwa, Providence Television International News.